this club should be in a final. This is where this club should be. And I think for us to do it with the group of players we had, the kind of good feeling that had coming up from the Championship, and then all of a sudden you're in an FA Cup final, it just all felt like, it was just incredible. It was just incredible. And
secretly, what I love about that is that they historically gave us the claret and blue kit. So you think about that, you gave us your kit and we knocked you out. Well, talk to us about the FA Cup final. I mean,
as a kid, the European Cup wasn't maybe as big as, to me, what the FA Cup final was. The FA Cup final was like the pinnacle. I woke up early on the FA Cup final day to watch all the filming that they'd done at the hotel with the suits, getting on the bus journey to Wembley, and like the helicopter would follow it the whole way, the sort of Twin Towers, getting into Wembley, walking on the pitch, royalty, abide with me, all of the things that come, I think, with the FA Cup final. That to me was the biggest game you could play in.
Yeah.
And I tweaked my hamstring about 3 weeks before at West Brom, which some people say I'm not quick enough to, but I did. And I thought, that's my FA Cup final over. But I sort of did everything I could. I did the old oxygen chamber. I was in there. I managed to get fit the Wednesday before the final, and we then got to go down to Cardiff, beautiful hotel, and Pardew named the team the night before. So he'd named, Xhaka in goal, Scaloni at right back, Konchesky left back, Anton and Gabs at centre halves, Fletch and Ria Coker in the middle, Etherington on the left, Benayoun on the right, Harewood, and then he had a question mark, so he couldn't decide between me and Bobby the night before. So there's me and Bobby Zamora, not knowing if we're playing the biggest game, and everyone else is going to bed knowing they're either playing, they're on the bench, or they're not in the squad. And so it was just so... He didn't tell us at breakfast, he didn't tell us at the suits. So trying to take all that in when you don't know you're starting was quite difficult.
Yeah.
And getting to the stadium, looking up to my family, saying, I don't know if I'm starting, sort of thing. Wow. Yeah. And then he, obviously, to hear with only a little bit of time to go, that I was starting is like the best news I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And God knows how Bobby felt, to be fair. He must have been crushed. But to then be able to, we were playing Liverpool as well, current European champions, massive historic club in its own right. And then, Prince William comes out, abide with me. It's just like, it's insane how good that was, just stood there, and you've got all claret, half claret and blue, half red. It was just so cool.
Yeah. And
then we made such an amazing start. All the build-up had not been, we got to worry about this, we got to worry about that. It was, we're gonna properly go, we're gonna go for them, and we did, and we were really, really good in the sort of first 20, 25 minutes. Obviously, Carragher scores the own goal, and then, I mean, to me, it's a worldie. To me, I've spanked it in the top bins, but obviously I've scuffed it through Rayner and into the back of the net. But that feeling, just doesn't get beat. That just doesn't get beat. It's the only picture I have in my house of me playing is me scoring that goal and celebrating, because
really
we're quite arrogant forward, so we practice celebrations, don't we? Like most goals, it's because we've thought of what we're going to do. That was just like pure joy, real joy of scoring an FA Cup final. We're 2-0 up. That feeling, you getting that feeling as if you're gonna do it. And then, I mean, it was just, I can look back now and watch and think, what an incredible game. And it did feel like it within the game. But yeah, Gerrard's just a freak, and the guy's just he was just at the peak of his powers as well at that point. He'd just done what he did in the European Cup final, and for it to fall to him the way it did, it just wasn't meant to be for us. I mean, I'd been subbed off at about 75 minutes, so you don't take it in the same when you're not on the pitch. But yeah, the extra time and the penalties, and just like heart wrenching.
Like my dreams, they fade and die.
Yes.
Literally, I mean, cold sweats about Gerrard's goal.
Yeah.
But what a goal. You got to say.
you got to take your hat off to him.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
goal.
of course, yeah. But again, we're a bit unfortunate. I mean, they had players that had scored in the European Cup final penalty shootout in their team at the end.
Yeah.
We had at least 3 of the 4 penalty takers not taking them at the end. So me, Matt Etherington, and Marlon was injured. Okay. She had 3 players that would have definitely taken a penalty in the first 5 that weren't available. So that's Anton wouldn't have been in the first 5 and put his hand up to take one, of course. And so, yeah, it was sort of made for them in terms of the pressure of that penalty shootout.
What was the team talk like before that game? What was the atmosphere like in the changing room leading up to that?
It was led by Pardew in that we had this confidence of, like, it is Liverpool, and we'd watched them in the European Cup final, and they had Gerrard, and they had Alonso, and Carragher, Huppier, and Peter Crouch up front, and Morientes, and they had plenty of talent.
Yeah.
But I think Pardew had always had this. It's about us. Like, what are we going to do to affect them? Yeah, of course there'd be a little bit of defensive work, but it'd be more, how are we going to sort of stamp our authority on the game and attack them? And that's so. Then when you're in the team talk, it's not about, there's sort of no negativity. It's more about, well, remember, we're going to do this. We're going to go and attack these areas. We're going to play on that person, and it's all kind of just all positive. So you go out thinking, well.
Yeah.
We're not going to lose, even though it's Liverpool, we're not going to lose, because he's made it sound like we are going to cause them problems. And yeah, I mean, we couldn't have done much more. I thought we played pretty much as well as we could have done in that final.
It was a draw.
It was.
It was a draw.
Yeah.
I mean, does someone like Pardew, with that sort of tenacity, I mean, does he instill confidence on the players with his sort of way, if you know what I mean?
I don't think you can help but be sort of pulled along with that, with that confidence. I think it's his greatest attribute, but it probably ends up being his downfall as well. In terms of he has that relationship with the players because of the confidence and the way he makes everyone feel, because he's constantly sort of boosting you up as players and talking about the positives so much more rather than the negatives. But then I guess if things are tough, can you then be tough enough on the players to maybe get a response, which probably hindered him in the end. But I loved it, because as a forward, you want attacking football, you want positivity. You don't want to be thinking, how have I got to defend before I've even got to think about scoring a goal. So, and all the training was amazing. All the training was like forward based, so it was great.
So you relished in that, really?
I loved it. Yeah. And I think just that period was I would say was probably the best of my career.
Well, off of the back of that, then. So I mean, we obviously lose the FA Cup. What was life like after that loss? Was there a big lull in the team, like, so to speak, carrying on to like the next season and that?
I didn't feel it, because if you think, the team was quite young. Rio Coker was the captain and he was 21.